Hey guys, just want to show you something I got for Christmas. I bought for myself. I got a Lew Pro 1000 progressive reloader for 9mm setup, and it came that way. I got it for a great deal on Amazon. I think it was like $180. And the reason I went with that is over a Hornady or a Dillon is because I could get almost everything I needed for around 450 bucks, including powder, primers, and bullets. 500 bullets, all from Midway. No, I didn't get it off Amazon. I got it all from Midway. One huge package, So that's why I went with it. There's a lot of reviews out there about the primer feed case and things like that, and I'm going to show you in a second the things I've done to kind of mitigate getting sideways primers or primers not feeding, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Alright, so if you're going to get into reloading, you're going to find all sorts of lists which are great on the internet, things that you can find that'll just tell you everything you need to reload. Of course you're going to need powder. I was able to find this at the store, and I've got 3 more bottles of this. There's a local gun store that had some in stock, so I bought as much as I could. You're going to need some pistol powder or rifle powder. Look up online what's best for what you want to reload. Small pistol primers, I bought 2,000 of these, and you'll need bullets. Okay, I've got some 124 grain hollow points here that I bought, but what I've been reloading so far is some copper plated bullets, which are actually working good for me. The only bad thing about it is there's not a lot of info on reloading for those. A lot of people just say use the info that's on the internet for lead bullets. So I started doing that, and it's worked really well for me. And you'll need brass. To clean your brass, you'll need a tumbler, which I have here. Just cheap tumbler. You'll need some media for it. It came with some walnut media and some brass polish you can add to it that'll clean it up. Case lube. Okay, and then for those times when you do mess up a bullet or a primer gets in backwards or sideways, a bullet puller. That's come in very handy for me. So, and here's the biggest thing when starting out, whether it's a Lew, a Dillon, or whatever, start out slow. I didn't start out with the bullet case feeder on here. I started out one at a time, just running one bullet through it, making sure I understood how it worked, so that I could understand the whole process. So if something goes wrong, you have a better idea of how to fix it. You need lots of tools. You want to measure. I got a Frankfurt Arsenal scale, and it comes with a pan so you can measure your throws, how much powder you're throwing, because you need that. You need a good reloading handbook. I bought the Lyman reloading handbook. There's a lot of good reviews out there about that, but there's also tons of stuff online. There's some websites that you can go to, and I'll put those down in the comments or down in the description of the video. And there's lots of those that you can go to where you can put in what bullet you're using, what powder you're using, and what type of bullet, and it'll give you some load data. And that's one of the first things you're going to have to do when you set all this up, besides getting this all set up and mounted to wherever you're going to have it, is you're going to have to determine what's the best load. So I did that. I started at the low end, and I took some targets out, and I wrote down on the targets what the loads were, what the overall length was. Now 4.4 grains of WSF, it was shooting good, but it was not cycling the gun. I'd get a failure to eject almost every time, so it wasn't enough powder in there to do the job. Okay, so I went up to 4.9 overall length of 1.14, and that shot great. That shot really good. So the 4.9 at 1.169 was not as good, and the overall length was for Full Metal Jacket, and the 1.14 was for lead. So I started using that, and that worked better. And then the 5.5 grains of powder was pretty good too, but it was a little bit more snappy. So what I've been doing is I've loaded 500 rounds at this now, and it's been working great for me. This is at about 10 yards, so it worked great for me. So once you figure that out, once you get your recipe right, you can get busy loading, and that took the longest, finding out what was right, what was going to work right for your gun. For my gun it was. So alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and just take you through the process real quick. One thing that everybody says with the Lew loaders is on your primer tray, you want to have at least 100 primers in there. You want to have a good bit so it keeps the weight flowing down the feeder tray tube down here, and that weight will push a new primer in every time. And one of the keys, like I said, is I've had some jams. I've had some get in there sideways, but that's usually because there's dirt or there's powder or something getting in there. And one of the keys that I've found to keeping that clean is canned air. You can give a couple shots to the whole system in here and basically blow out all the dirt and all the gunk that may get in there. And also pipe cleaners. If you run low or if you want to feed all those back out, run a pipe cleaner through. The pipe cleaner also helps when loading. You can stick a pipe cleaner in here to hold all the primers in, put it in, and then pull it out, and it works great. So let's go through the process real quick. We're gonna put a case in, and we'll deprime it. The next stage, you're gonna put the primer in on the upstroke. Downstroke, we're gonna take the old primer out, and we're gonna dump powder in on the second stage. Move to the third stage. We're gonna visually check that yes, there is powder in there. Put the bullet in, and right now we've got all three stations working. We're gonna deprime. I just put a primer in on the upstroke, and then we'll put powder in, and then we're gonna seat the bullet on the next one. Now this is where you get your overall length right here. You can adjust this. You can adjust it clockwise to bring the overall length down, and that's what you're going to need. You're going to need a good set of calipers too. I forgot to mention that. Just a good set of calipers where you can measure your overall length, and you're going to have to play with that before you start loading and make sure you get it right for whatever your load data is. And there's a bullet right there. So I can do quite a bit. I can probably do 100 in about 25 minutes if everything goes right and there's no hiccups. I have no problems with this progressive reloader for the money, especially. I'm sure there's a lot better progressive reloaders out there, but for the money I don't think you can beat it. If you keep it clean, if you keep a bunch of primers in the tray, and if you watch what you're doing, I think you'll get a lot for your money. Alright guys, one of the tricks I was talking about is when you're loading your primers, you can take this piece of pipe cleaner, you got your primers in your tray, and you can hold it like that as you're putting it down into the primer feed tube. And you can push it all the way down and then pull the pipe cleaner out, and there they go. They're all right in there. You don't have any issues. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.